Alright, Tigers, here we go. 4-2. Lesson on elasticity and practice problems going on here. Okay, so a couple practice problems, a couple notes we gotta make sure we have done here. So let's make sure we can do this together and clear. So we got some data over here. Suppose vacationers and business travelers have the following demand for airline tickets from New York to Boston up there. Okay, so this is the quantity demanded of business travelers at these prices, and this is the quantity demanded of vacationers at these prices. So the question says, as the price of tickets rises from 200 to 250, what is the price elasticity of demand for business travelers and vacationers? Okay, so don't worry about the term price right here. So we're not going to really worry about that right now. Okay, we want to go from 200 to 250 in both travelers and vacationers. So I'm going to set the problem up for you and then see if you can solve it, and pause. We're back. Okay, so 19 or 2,000, 2,000, 250 over 200. Okay, 0.5, excuse me, 0.05 or 0.25, 0.2, and 1. You should be able to calculate this. If you have any questions, send me an email about this point. But price elasticity demand for business travelers is 0.2. For vacationers, it's about 1. Okay, so why is this such a big deal? This is inelastic. This is almost unit elastic. Why might vacationers have a different elasticity than business travelers? Business travelers have to be there typically now. When we talk about vacationers, a lot of times they have time to plan, which raises the elasticity at that point to a bit of an easier point going forward here. Okay, so let's try 2. Okay, you should be able to set it up and go from here. That's the old price, new price. Old quantity, new quantity. Give me the PED for oil in France. Ready? Okay, here we go. So, price goes from 100 to 120. Oil consumption in France falls from 1,000,000 to 900,000 barrels. So, new minus the old over the old. New minus the old over the old. Remember, quantity is on top, price is on bottom. 0.1 over 0.2 gives me 0.5. That's telling me that it's pretty inelastic good at that point. So the interpretation down here is a really good way to see, to make sure we understand this. As price goes up by, okay, $20, okay, they only demand 100,000 less oil. So you can tell that it's a really important good for them in that realm. So why is this relevant? Let's go through and see if we can do this, okay? Good graph here. Let's highlight some points here. So, here we go, blue, okay? If price goes from 6, okay, to 8, QD is going to fall from 4 to 2. Right? And if price goes from 2, let's use a different color here. Okay, price goes from 2, it's down here. 2, I wanted red. 2 to 4, right? What happens to quantity demanded? Well, quantity demanded at that time was 8, right? And now it's going to be 6. Okay, so take a minute and calculate the elasticity demand of these two figures. Did you get it? Okay, up here I got 1.66, and here I got 0.25. Sorry, should have read. There we go. Right. So the 1.661. Now notice that's up here. It's on the upper part of the curve. That's elastic. Okay? This part down here is on the lower part of the curve. That's inelastic. That's going to really play an important point here on this next slide that we have going on here, okay? This says, is the price elasticity for a particular good the same at all prices? And real quick, let's hammer this out right now. The answer is no, okay? So how does price elasticity for a good affect the producer's decisions on how to set prices. Okay, we have two graphs right here. Okay, let me add this in so we have it here. Okay, and I know it's down there, but I don't like it down there. I like it equal at this point. So here's our market for falafel graph, but transposed down here is a total revenue graph. So here's total revenue, and here's quantity. Okay, so as prices go down, it's showing price times quantity gets us total revenue. So as prices go down, total revenue goes up, right? Until we get the unit elastic, which is right here in the middle, and then as prices continue to fall, total revenue really drops off the curve here. So let's see if we can do this here at this point, right? Okay, so when a fall in price, when price goes down, leads to an increase in total revenue, demand is, so price goes up, total revenue goes down, they're going opposite directions. That's telling us that this is an elastic, oops, not elastic term here, okay? Consumers are highly responsive to changes in price. A small decrease in price, I don't know what it says, will there, leads to a large increase in quantity demanded, okay? Total revenue increases. Cool, right? When a fall in price leads to a decrease, so now we're on this side over here. We're on this part of the graph here, right? When a fall in price leads to a decrease in firm's total revenue, demand is inelastic. Okay? Consumers are unresponsive to changes in price. A fall in price will lead to only a small increase in quantity demanded, so total revenue decreases. You just know that there's so many of a thing that you can have at that point, right? So when there's a change in price leads to no change in a firm's total revenue, demand is unit elastic, okay? Which means that total revenue is unchanged with a 10% fall in price and a 10% increase in quantity demanded. That happens sometimes. So why is this relevant? You now know, or you should know, the upper part of the graph is the elastic part of the graph. The lower part of the graph is the inelastic part of the graph. And right in the middle, somewhere, now it's not always dead set, is where unit elastic is. And here's the point you got to understand. Guys, we're only going to sell things in the elastic part of the graph. Because one of the rules that we've said over and over and over again is if a producer realizes that the demand for his good is inelastic, what should he do? He should raise prices. So understand this point. Let's say we're here at price 4. Okay, the price is $4. Okay, I'm going to put a little dot there. Okay, there's my little dot right there. Okay, at 4, the total revenue or the quantity is 12. 4 times 12 is 48. We're almost to the top here, but we realize that we can make another $1. Okay, we can make another $1 by raising the price up to 7. Now you're like, well, wait a minute, I'm raising the price $3. Yeah, and I'm selling, what, 5 less goods. Who cares? I'm making more money. So what happens is firms realize that if they're in the inelastic section of the graph, what do? They raise their prices. Because they want to get to this upper part of the elastic section because they know if they can get to unit elastic, they'll be maximizing their revenue as much as they possibly can. Okay? So how does that play out over here? Okay, one more problem. Okay? Upper part of the demand curve, elastic. Lower part of the demand curve, inelastic, right? A to B is, I don't think I need to type it for you, but I will. Okay? It's the elastic section of the demand curve. B to C is the inelastic section of the demand curve. At point B, elasticity demand is 1. It's unit elastic, right? So if the section of the demand curve from A to B corresponds to prices between $8 and $16, then when price goes from 9 to 10, okay, so here we go. This is 8, this is 16. Here, I'll give you a little line here and make it even better. Oh, I got an email. Okay, ready? Okay, so that's 8, and up here is 16, right? When price goes from 9 to 10, okay, price goes from 9 to 10, price goes up. Total revenue, what's going to happen to it? They're raising prices in the elastic section. That ain't a good thing. So total revenue is going to do what? It's going to go down. Okay, so we know that total revenue. Okay, I'm going to use an arrow here. We know that total revenue is going to go down because quantity demanded changes more proportionally than the price. If the price increases between points B and C, okay, we know if the price is going up, then total revenue will also go up. Why? We're getting more close to unit elasticity. You've got to understand how we work this throughout all the way to that point. Tomorrow, I'll answer any questions during office hours, but the study guide will be created for you. You'll have to submit it for some puntos for the quiz on Friday. So make sure you check in, and during the podcast tomorrow, we'll go over all the things that you need to have done. Okay? Have a great night. Go Tigers.